Raise your hand if you watch Mandalorian. Okay, I'm just getting into it. I'm excited. I heard it's amazing, so I'm going to be like jumping into it. But tonight's game, all right, tonight's game is, we're going to show you this slide. It's called Mandolin, DeLorean, or Mandalorian. Get it? Everyone knows what a mandolin is, right? Do you don't know what a mandolin is? It's an instrument. It's like a really small guitar. I know someone in their home is gonna be like, that's not what it is. But it's kind of like that, okay? It's a mandolin, okay? It's a stringed instrument, okay? Does everyone know what a DeLorean is? What is it? Oh, thank you. It's a car. And of course, Mandalorian. And they all kind of rhyme, right? So I need 3 contestants to play this game. If you want to play, just come on up. I need the first 3 people to come stand behind a bell, all right? Just come stand behind one of the bells. Anybody wants to play. Come on up. Come on up. All right. So here's how it works, okay? You guys need to be able to see the screen, okay? So you want to stand behind one of the bells. Ian, come over here and stand behind this bell. All right? And we're gonna show you an image, okay? And you have to decide, and we're gonna show you the image, and if you don't get it, then we're gonna show you a little bit more. It's pixelated. Okay, it's pixelated, so you get to kind of guess. You have to guess, is it mandolin, which is a stringed instrument, a DeLorean, or the Mandalorian? Okay, and as soon as you think you know, you're going to, oh. You're not going to do that. Yes, you're going to ring in. Okay? Now, if you answer wrong, it's not good for you. It's bad for you. Nothing happens. You just don't win. Okay? If you ring in early, you don't win, okay? So whoever gets the most right is going to win the prize tonight, okay? Are you guys ready? Okay, so look at the screen. All right, here's the first one. If you think you know if that's the mandolin, DeLorean, or Mandalorian, ring in. That's the first image, okay? All right, we're going to show you the second image. Okay. The third image. Are you ringing in? That was him? I thought it was you. Okay.
Mandalorian.
He's going Mandalorian. Is that correct? Let's reveal. Yes. Good job. See how it works now? Okay. All right. So here comes the next one. Is that mandolin, DeLorean, or Mandalorian? Okay. No takers. Let's go a little bit more. No takers yet. Let's go a little bit more. Who is that? Is you again? And what do you think it is? He says DeLorean. Is that correct? Oh, all right. Good. He's up 2. You guys, he's up 2-0. You guys got to come back. You guys got to come back. Okay, here's the next one. Mandolin, DeLorean, or Mandalorian? Okay, let's go a little bit more. A little bit more. Wow. That could be, a little bit more. Little.
Mandolin.
He says mandolin. Is that right? Good job. Oh, I thought he went in first. All right. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Okay. All right, here's the next one. Mandolin, DeLorean, or Mandalorian? Okay, a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Ian, I think you were first. Oh, were you first? Were you first? I just want to be fair, being honest. Okay, so you were first. What do you say? He's saying Mandalorian. Is that correct? No! It's mandolin. Oh, so you just lost one. So you're only up 1. We took one of yours away. Okay. If you're at 0, you're at 0. Well, yes. If you miss, then we take you down to negative numbers. You don't want that. Okay. Here's the next one. Mandolin, DeLorean, or Mandalorian? Okay, a little bit more. Okay, Ian, definitely was you this time. What do you think it is? He's going mandolin. Is that correct? No, it's Mandalorian. See, it's getting a little more, it's getting harder. It's getting harder. That's what we do here. We just get hard. We just go hard. Okay. All right. So you're at -1, unfortunately. Okay. And you're at 1. -1, you're even. You didn't get one right. You got one right. Wait, no, you're at 1. Okay, you're 1. Okay, sorry about that. All right, here we go. You guys are tied. You're down 1. All right, go. Mandalorian. Oh, a little bit more. Little bit more. What do you say?
DeLorean.
He's going DeLorean. Is that right? Yeah. Nice job. Wow, you got that fast. Okay, here's the next one. What is it? A little more. A little more. A little more. A little more. You can't go anymore? Oh, anybody want to take a guess? Nobody's chiming in? You don't have to. Okay, what do you guys think it is? They think it's Mandalorian. What is it? Oh, it's DeLorean. Wow. Wow. Okay. Mandalorian. Ian. He says Mandalorian. What is it? You see, mandolin? Okay, sorry. He says mandolin. It's mandolin. Oh, man. This is harder than it looks. Okay, how many more left? 30? Couple? 3. Okay, great. All right, 3 more, guys. Here we go. A little more. Mason? He says DeLorean. The answer is? Oh, it's John DeLorean with his DeLorean. Okay, so that makes you at 0 minus, you had 1, right? Right. Huh? I thought you said Mandalorian. Oh, you said DeLorean? See, now I'm confused. Okay. With this mask on, I can't hear anything. Okay. Okay, just seeing if anybody's paying attention. All right, you're up. All right, here we go. Mandalorian. Go. Anybody? A little more? He says Mandalorian. The answer is mandolin. Is that the last one? One more. This one's worth 37 points. Yeah, so if you get this right, you win. Okay? Here we go. Gio? He's going with DeLorean. Is that correct? Yes, good job. Oh, it's all 3. Oh, so you, no matter what you answered, you would have gotten it right. All right, you know what? You guys all did awesome. You all win a prize. Go for it. Go to yes. Let's hear it for him, you guys. Let's hear it for him. Hey, Adam, will you grab these chairs from him? Take these down somewhere. All right, guys. So we are going to jump into this series that we started last week. We're going to get back into it tonight. Choose your own adventure. And we've got an adventure for you to do this week. I'm going to explain that in a few minutes about how that's going to work, okay? So I just want to pray for you guys and pray for our night together. So let's pray. Hey, God, first, it is good to be together tonight. And God, I just pray that as we raise our voices in song to you and as we contemplate who you are and what you mean in our lives, and as we think about the word that you have given us, that we would just be inspired by that we would leave this place knowing more about ourselves and knowing more about you, and maybe, Lord, just growing just a little bit before we leave this place tonight. So, God, we love you. We thank you for the chance to be here tonight. We lift all these things up, and we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Hey, senior high, how are we doing? I can't even see. All these lights are so blinding. Hello, everyone. How was your first week back to school? I know, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even mentioned that, right? Okay, well, it's awesome to see you guys tonight. Are y'all ready to worship? Yeah, here we go. You calm the storm that surrounds me. Awesome. Are you guys still with us? Yeah. Awesome. Well, I would love to just take this time to be quiet and somber, right? Because we're going in to this next song that we sang a few times. You probably remember it. It's been a little while since we've sang it, but I would love for us to just resonate on the words of this song and really just remember that God is for us and he loves us, and how amazing it is to just be in this place, being able to worship his holy name, right? Yeah. So I would love for us, if you feel comfortable, maybe raise your hands, maybe just close your eyes. But I would love for us to just take this moment with God in prayer to really just be present with him and be quiet and connect with him and become closer to him in this next song of worship. Would that be okay with you guys? Yeah, I'm seeing some head nods. That's good. Okay, so let's bow our heads in prayer to God. God, we are just so thankful for this night to gather together here to worship you. God, I pray that whatever we came and walked through these doors with tonight, God, that we can just set those aside and give those up to you, so we can just spend this intimate, quiet moment with you tonight. God, I pray that for the rest of our worship here tonight, God, that we just feel closer to you and that we release everything that's going on in our lives right now. And that we just be reminded for the reason why we're here. God, we love you so, so much. And we just pray for this time of worship together tonight. Who can melt the hardest heart and speak life into my soul? Who can spin the world around and hold me ever close? Who can search the depths of me and love me to the core? Who controls the world I see and walks me through it all? No one but you. No one but you. Yes, Jesus, we are here to worship you, and there is no one but you. God, there is no one but you. God, what an amazing reminder that is. God, we love you, and we thank you for this time that we can gather here together. You are so, so good. God, we thank you, and we pray all of these things in your name, and together we said, amen. You guys can have a seat.
Before we jump in, I just like to take a minute. I hope that you won't mind. I know a lot of you watched what happened in our country this week and what happened in our backyard down at the Capitol. And I know that for many of you, it's quite personal for many different reasons. Some of you have family members that were involved. Some of you were wondering what was going on with maybe someone you cared about that day. And maybe you just, have feelings associated with it in general. But I am the same as you. And I just wanted to take a minute for us just to pray for the families of those who died. And just take a second to pray for those folks because you got to be hurting today. So if you'll pray with me, I would very much appreciate that. So God, first, Lord, I think about the families tonight, those who've lost someone. They weren't expecting this to happen. And it's really hard to navigate through these hard things. And so, Lord, I just pray for each and every one of those people who are hurting tonight. And praying that they find peace in knowing you and that you come alongside them and that they are reassured that you love them. And so we just ask for that. And Lord, I pray for every single person. I pray for everybody involved, everybody who wasn't involved, everybody who was afraid, everybody who wonders what the heck's going on. Pray for everybody who wonders what happens next and all this stuff that we're all trying to figure out together. Lord, I would pray that we would be love one another first, and that we would always try to do that every single day. And so, God, we love you. We thank you for protecting us and being with us. And we lift up all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. And I just want to, again, offer up to you guys, we posted something on social media this week, but if anybody wants to talk to us, if you have any questions, you want to navigate through any of that stuff, Jess and I would love to talk to you about that. So just kind of making that offer. We started a new series last week called Choose Your Own Adventure, okay? And the first night, we came away with this one big idea, and it was that knowing God is an adventure, not a formula, right? There's not like a bunch of boxes that we check off, and all of a sudden we know God really well. And we're tight with him, or we know everything that we're supposed to know about God. It's not the way it works, right? It's not a it's not a formula. It's not like the way you do it isn't the way that I'm going to do it. The way that I'm going to be in relationship with God is going to be different from the way you are. And for us, it's about being willing to go on that adventure to figure out what that means for each one of us, okay? And tonight we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the idea of friendships and relationships, okay? Because that's also a pretty big adventure. And I hope that by the time you leave tonight, what you hear is that relationships and the friendships that you have, those are a choice. Okay, it's not just random.
It's not just who you run into or who you live near or what school you go to. It's really about a choice that you can make in life, and it matters, okay? And I want to get us started by watching two clips, okay, two video clips. We're going to watch the first one, then I'm going to say a little something, and then I'm going to watch the second one, and we'll say a little something. Both of these, I think, have something to say about friendships and relationships. So watch this first one, okay? Here it comes. Okay, how many of you are playing this? Anybody? A few of you are playing this? Okay. If you don't know what it is, it's Among Us. It's this pretty popular game that's out right now. And the interesting thing about that is that the goal is to work with your friends or with your team in order to not die. Okay? Pretty good goal, right? And I was kind of thinking about that in terms of friendship. I was like, is that really a friendship principle? Well, you know what? Sometimes, if you don't handle your friendships right, they can go really, really poorly and bad things can happen, okay? And if that one doesn't do it for you, then I'm pretty sure that this one will have something to say to you. So watch this one. If we want to make it on this journey of knowing God, if we want to make it on this journey toward knowing and following Him well, we cannot do it alone. God has designed us to be in relationship and to have deep and important friendships, okay? And we need to think about the people that we're journeying with along the way, because other people around you have enormous power to impact your faith, for good and for bad. And that's why this is so important, okay? Let me see a show of hands real fast. If your parents have ever given you a hard time or even asked you just a bunch of questions about the friends that you have, raise your hand. Okay? All right? Many of you, if not every single person, and probably online. I'd love to know about that too. Just type in and let us know. We'd love to know about that. Okay? Here's probably why your parents and our church and me and Jess and your small group leaders and everybody that kind of hangs out with you on Sundays cares about this, okay? A couple of slides. A survey that was taken 30 years ago, okay? It's one of these Gallup polls. Look at this slide, okay? It revealed the top 3 influences on teenagers, okay? It's actually the one before that. Is there one that's like blue? Okay, this is the old one, okay? This is the old one. 30 years ago, the top influences on parents, on teenagers, were parents, your extended family, and then other caring adults, which could be a coach or somebody like me or something like that. Your peers, your friends, okay, and then the media. Okay, so this was 30 years ago. Now, look at this next one. Here's what it is today. Now, it's friends followed by the media, basically, and it's changed on what that means, and then family members, okay? So parents went from number 1 to number 3. Friends went from 4 or 5 or 6 to number 1. And I don't know if you believe that. I'm wondering, as that clicks through your brain right now, if you're like, yeah, that's absolutely the way it is. That's super true. By the way, another survey shows that spiritual leaders, people like me or your small group leaders or Jess or somebody like that, according to this survey, rank number 17. 17 on the list. And I was like, wow, that's crazy, okay? So you might look at that and say, yeah, that's true, or that's not true. But, at least when I see you here tonight, I know that maybe we're a little higher than 17. You're making some choices to expose yourself to what God has to say and to this expression of His church and to be in fellowship with other people in this place and build friendships based on Jesus. And that's a cool thing, right? Because here's the thing. Friendships that you have now, okay, even though they probably won't last forever. You might know some of the people in this room or some of the people in your small group after high school. And into college, you might have formed a bond that's so important that you will know each other for a really long time, and that's awesome, okay? But it might change, right? It might change too as you go off into different places, all right? But the friends that you have now, the friends that you will have, they all impact your direction in life, okay? They all impact where you're headed. And I was kind of thinking about this, and I was thinking, you know what? If that's true, if friends are the number one influence, then we need to think about that for a second. So I came up with these 3 statements, okay? And I'm calling them friends are huge statements, okay? As you can see, I made huge really big so you would see that. Friends are huge statements, because if it's true that friends have a big influence, then friends are huge in the way that we live our lives, okay? And I wanted to make this point really big, and I was like, well, I could just put bigger and bigger letters on the screen, but sometimes that doesn't work. So what I did was I printed out these next 3 things that I want to talk about. And I asked some friend groups that are, some friend pairs that are in the room tonight to come and show you these 3 statements, okay? So our first friend pair, and you have to clap for every friend pair that comes up, okay? Our first friend pair that's going to come up are Jaden and Audrey. So everybody say hello, clap for them, all right? They're going to spread this first statement up and across the front of the room here for you guys to see, all right? So what it should say on this piece of paper is, your friends often have a greater influence on you than your own convictions or standards, okay? This is statement number 1. Your friends have more of an impact or an influence on you than your own convictions or standards, okay? Think about this. Even if you've ever even just temporarily abandoned a conviction or a standard or a belief or something that you actually do hold dear, if you've just thrown that out the window, even for a short period of time because a friend sort of influenced you to do that, then you know that this is true, right? You've lived this. Some of you have been, I have sat with many students over the years who have come in and said, hey, this is what happened, and I can't believe that I did that, but I just felt like I had to because my friends were doing it, X, Y, and Z, and there was that moment where I just kind of let everything go. I just kind of let that go for a second because I was being influenced by my friends. I blew it. I did this with my friends. I'm fully aware that it was probably not the best thing for my life, but I did that. So this is the first one, all right? Your friends often have a greater influence on you than your convictions or standards. All right, you guys can just leave that laying up here on the stage. Let's hear it for them one more time, okay? All right. Now the second one, Natalie and Izzy are going to bring the second one up here, okay? They're going to display it for you, all right? Let's hear it for them. Everybody's doing a great job helping with this tonight, all right? You guys go ahead and spread that out. They're so worried that they're not going to do it right. So you just did it. Look, let's do it. Just look at that. Good job. Way to go. All right. This one should say, your friends have more influence on you than your parents do. Okay? It says your friends have more influence on you than your parents do, okay? Sometimes you might feel it may actually be the case that it's your friends. Think about this for a second. Have you ever felt that your friends care more about you than your parents? Maybe you've been in conflict with your parents and you're not on the same page. And by the way, that happens when you're your age and things start to change in your brain and you start to think about things differently. But maybe you've felt that way, okay? Our society is a weird one. Our society has even this one situation where you have an extreme situation here, I've read about this. I don't know anybody about this, but I've read about this, and maybe you've heard this before, but some people who are in some of these pretty violent gangs that we hear about, and even MS-13 and things like that around here in California and New York and bigger cities and all that, they say, when they get down into the nitty-gritty and they have conversations with the people, they go, why are you in that? Seems like a bad idea. And their answer is, well, it's my family. It's the only family I have. So I'm loyal to that. I'm loyal to that. And on the other end, some parents, they just kind of, maybe they are struggling to be the parent that they want to be, or they don't know how to be a parent, okay? Or they've messed up and they think their kid doesn't love them anymore, or they just don't know how to connect, right? And so sometimes you start to go, well, I'm not connecting with my parents, and so all of a sudden, my friends have more influence on me than my parents do. All right, you guys can leave that up there, okay? Good job, way to go. All right, that's the second one. All right, the final one, Sophie and Shumani have that one. They are going to bring that one up for us. All right, Sophie and Shumani, let's hear it for them, you guys. Okay. And this one should say, your friends often have more influence on you than God. Okay? No one in here today can say that they haven't been influenced by friends to do something that's contrary to God's will. I have. You have. We all have been influenced in a way that has sort of pushed us maybe a little further away from God than we should because of a relationship. That's happened to every single one of us, and it will probably still happen, right? It's kind of a scary thought to think that, just mere mortals like all of us, all right, have more influence on some people we know than the God of the universe. But it is absolutely true how that works sometimes, right? And I happen to agree with these statements. I think they're all true, all right? They all have some merit. All right, you guys can leave that up here. Good job. Thank you so much. Okay. I believe that your friends influence you and you influence your friends. And let me be honest for a moment, as honest as I can, about, one of the reasons that Jess and I have invested our lives into being in student ministry and to be connected to students like you and so many over the years is that we want to have an influence too. We want to influence you to influence your friends, right? And we believe that while you influence your friends, they also influence you. It's a two-way street. And I don't know how to say it any more clearly than that. We're not trying to, sneak up on you and go, boo, boo. Okay, do what God says, like out of the blue, We're not trying to do that. We're trying to be pretty overt about it, okay? We're saying, look, we want to influence you so that you can influence others because of your relationship with God, okay? Now, there's a couple of verses that we're going to build on tonight as we talk about a couple of ideas of how to do that, okay? There's a couple of verses, and I want to share them with you, right? They're both from the book of Proverbs. If you know anything about the book of Proverbs, you know that it's the book of wisdom. Thank you so much. It's wisdom, okay? This is where we turn when we want to see something smart. What's a smart idea about a topic, okay? And here's a couple of verses. One is Proverbs 13:20, and it says this. It says, "He who walks with the wise grows wise." So, let me stop there for a second. Just think about that. He who walks with the wise grows wise. Hang out with people who are smart. Hang out with people who are wise. Hang out with people who make good decisions. Hang out with people who are solid. That rubs off on you. Same way, other way. You guys are wise. You guys are solid. You guys do it the right way. It's going to rub off on those around you. It goes on to say, "But a companion of fools suffers harm." So it's a two-way street. If we hang out with people who are solid, we hang out with people who are wise, hang out with people who are making good decisions, we are more likely to do the same. If we do the opposite, we're more likely to do the opposite. And if you're doing that, you're influencing them. If they're doing that, they're influencing you. Another verse, Proverbs 12:26 says, "The godly give good advice to their friends. The wicked lead them astray." It's funny to think that we might give a friend bad advice, right? But you've probably been in that spot, right? Like where you're with a friend and you're talking about something and they're having a hard time, and in your head what's probably the right thing to say, but it's not what they want to hear. It's not what they want to hear in the moment. They want to hear you like affirm something that they're thinking that maybe isn't awesome, but you don't have the courage in the moment to like say, it's actually not true, right? Well, that's kind of what this verse is saying. It's not like we set out, very few people set out to lead their friends down a bad path on purpose. That's just not good. That's something wrong with that, right? But we often sometimes maybe don't have all the courage that we need to say the right thing in the moment. Instead, we sort of lead people astray a little bit, okay? There's one other verse that says the same thing. It's not a verse at all. It's just a saying from a country guy, I'm told. And here's the saying: if you sleep with dogs, you're going to get fleas. Country guy, okay? Same idea. Country guy says, if you sleep with dogs, you're going to get fleas, all right? Here's the thing. I want to give you a little bit later on a little self-quiz, okay? It's a self-quiz to see where you and your friends match up. I'm going to give it to you in a few minutes, so just get ready for that as we kind of talk about some ideas. It's a little quick self-quiz where you give yourself a point if you can answer yes to it, okay? And it's going to be based on some of these ideas that we're going to talk about, all right? So this is these four things I want to talk to you about. This is sort of like advanced friendship, okay? How do you go beyond where you're at now? By using some of these ideas. Advanced friendship, okay? So here's the first one. Don't smother or get smothered by your friends. Okay, don't smother or get smothered by your friends. Now, what I mean by that is this. Have you known like one or two people or a group of people who are such good friends that it was hard to tell where one started and the other left off? They were like homogenous. Like everything about this one or two people or these three or four people was kind of the same, right? Always together. Their loyalty was only to each other. You knew that if you told one of those persons something, every single other person in that group was going to know what you told the one person, all right? It's almost like each of the individual persons don't have a personality anymore. It's like a collective. They just become molded into one, all right? But in reality, to be healthy, we've got to build on our own identities so that we can contribute to the friendship and not just be monolithic, right? When you get into being just one thing, then there's no variety. Everybody's kind of pulling in the same direction. No one's challenging each other. No one's growing anymore, right? And this can be bad, right? Bad things can happen, I was thinking about all of the stupid things that I did when I was in high school. And I've told you many, many of these stories over the years, okay? I've told you the story of where we took styrofoam packing peanuts and filled up my friend's girlfriend's car and got busted for that. And it was very funny at the time, but stupid, all right? And then there was this other time. So as you all know, because I was displaying this at Christmas time, what an amazing musician I am, playing the trombone. Okay, maybe not. But I played the tuba in high school band, all right? And every year, our band would do this big competition where we would march for the state fair, and we'd go to band camp, all right? And I had this friend who was older than me, and he was a huge influence on me. I still love him to this day. He's a great guy, but he had this incredible influence on me, and sometimes not for good, all right? So we're at band camp, and this is going to crack you guys up because you're going to be like, Kyle, how are you 408 years old? Okay, so back when I was in high school, there was no phone. There were no cell phones, okay? There was not even iPods, okay? But we did have Walkmans. You know what that is? Walkmans, like Sony Walkmans. But you had two choices at the time. It was a Walkman that was a radio, where you could tune into the radio stations, or you could put a cassette tape in. You know what cassette tapes are? Okay. Mixtape. Okay. So my friend, he didn't have any of that, but he had cassettes, okay, and he had a tape recorder that took cassettes. And it was big. It was as big as this piece of paper, all right? It was really big. And a lot of people had these at the time, all right? And they had little microphones that would plug into them. And what he liked to do was during break time, okay, during break time, everybody could do whatever they want. He would go into his cabin, right, where he could see what everybody was doing, And he would turn on the tape recorder and he would just start recording commentary about what he thought about each person. Okay? And so I walk into this one day, and I don't know if you agree, but there's two things about me that I know that are true about me. One is that I have a pretty deep sarcastic streak, which sometimes gets me in trouble. It's not awesome, okay? And I also am pretty funny at different times, okay? So he invited me into this conversation. And I got to tell you, for hours, we ripped on every single person that walked by and taped it all on cassette tapes that we never, ever expected anyone to hear except for us later when we would play them and laugh again, right? Guess what happened? Someone got the tapes and played them for everybody. Not good, right? Not awesome. Not the best moment of our lives, okay? But here's the thing. Sometimes when you let a friend smother what you know is best, or you do something and you pull them into it, and you smother them or they smother you, you end up in this situation where it's just not awesome, okay? Here's a Bible verse that gets right at it. It says, don't copy the behaviors and customs of the world. Let God transform you. So don't always be sucked into what might seem funny or interesting or whatever at the time. Have some guardrails, okay? Let God pull out of you the best things, and don't always get smothered by other people, okay? Here's another one. Make a commitment. Don't make a contract. Make a commitment. Don't make a contract. All right. When you were a little kid, did you ever make one of these and give it to a friend in your classroom? Do you want to be my friend? Check one. Yes or no. Who made one of these? All the girls, some of the guys are raising. Okay, all right. I used to make these all the time, all right? Maybe I was a little, I was not sure if I was liked or not, okay? So, you would fold it up like this, right? You would fold it up, and you would hand it to someone in the crowd, and you would say, hey, look at this paper and fill it out for me real fast. So go ahead and fill that out for me real fast, okay? Go ahead and look at it. Check the box, okay? I'm going to come check in a minute, okay? And here's the thing. In life, we need to make a commitment, but not a contract, okay? That's a contract where you say, do you want to be my friend? Yes or no, right? Okay? Or if you say to someone, hey, if you do it, you'll be my best friend. If you do this, you'll be my best friend. Did you fill that out? Can I look at it? No? Can I look at it? Okay, let's see what you wrote. Let's see what Allison wrote. Let's see. It says, do you want to be my friend? Check one. Yes, no. And she filled in maybe. Okay. See? Contract. Okay. Okay. All right. A contract is this thing where it always goes wrong, all right? If you have a contract friendship, it works this way. If you screw up, or if I disappoint you, or if you make me mad, or if you break my stuff, or if you suddenly become uncool, then I drop you. That's a contract friendship. It never really was based on much, okay? Again, I'm pouring out all these stories for you about me in high school, which I'm not always proud of. Okay, here's another one. I once broke up with a girl because it got around school that she had bad breath. I know, don't hate me. They called her cougar breath. Okay? And that was the only, and I'm like, wait a minute. We're dating. I've never smelled that before. But because people said it, I dropped her. Is that horrible? See, it's horrible. I'm admitting how horrible that is. I want you young people to learn from the idiocy of your pastor, okay? I've done stupid things, and I want you to not do that, okay? And I think back on that, and at the moment, it seemed like the right thing to do because I was thinking of it as a contract. This girl has bad breath. She broke the contract. Can't be seen with her. Terrible, regretful, horrible stuff. But it happens. You're laughing at me now, but you might do the same thing soon. Here's a verse that should guide you instead, okay? Here's the thing. It's easy for us sometimes to drop people because they don't fit into a box that we want them to fit into anymore. Imagine if that's what God's attitude was toward us. But here's what he says. He goes, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? And then it lists all these things. Who shall or what shall separate us from the love of Christ? Trouble, hardship, persecution, famine, nakedness. That's next month. Danger. What? You act like we've never talked about sex in this room. February is coming. Soon. Thank you. My goodness. Groan City. Okay. Maybe nakedness should separate us. Okay. That's the new series. Nakedness should separate us in the hangar. Okay. Danger or sword. But it goes through this whole list of stuff. You know, where it's like, look, basically saying nothing. God's never going to do that to us. God's never going to go, well, you blew it. Therefore, we can't be friends. Okay? Here's the third one. Give a gift, don't expect one. Okay, give a gift, don't expect one. Now, be careful with this one. What I'm not saying is don't go on your social media tonight and say, looking for new friends, first 5 friends get $5. I'm handing out $5 looking for new friends. People will be like, okay. That's not what I'm talking about. We're not talking about that kind of gift. Here's the gift that I'm talking about. Okay? These are different kinds of gifts. You're standing in a group of friends. Okay? I realize some of these things I'm talking about, you're like, yeah, I wish. COVID. Okay. You're standing in a group of friends. One of your friends leaves, whatever, gets a drink of water, goes to their locker, whatever it is, and everyone starts to say, did you hear about Susie? Susie's got a bad name, first of all. Susie. No one's named Susie anymore. Okay. Did you hear about Bertha? Bertha, okay, whatever her name is, right? And they start to gossip. Here's the gift that you can give. You can cut it off. You can either say, guys, come on. It's not fair. That's the really bold thing. Or you can just walk away. That's a real big gift. Or your friends, you're hanging out, and everybody's kind of ripping everybody, like the barbs are coming out and people start using some words and things start happening, all right? And the gift that you could give is to not participate in that, right? Words matter. Words matter. The things that we say, the things that come out of our mouth, they matter. They cast, they give people an impression of who we are, and then they also can damage the people that they're said to. There's an amazing, famous friendship in the Bible. A lot of you guys know about these two people, David and Jonathan. David, of course, is David of David and Goliath fame. Okay? He's friends with this guy, Jonathan. Jonathan is the son of the king. And Jonathan thinks David is such an amazing person, okay, and has all these incredible abilities and is such a good leader that he's like, I shouldn't be the king when my dad dies. You should be the king. I admire you that much. And there's this verse where he goes, it says, Jonathan took off his coat and gave it to David, along with his armor, including his sword, his bow, and his belt. Like he had such immense respect for this person that he bent over backwards to show it to him. That's the gift that we could give to one another. Okay? By the way, remember I said I wanted you to take a quiz? Here's the quiz. And I want you to give yourself a point for every one of these that applies to you. Okay? Here's the quiz. Give yourself a point if you've ever had a conversation with a friend about things that really matter. Not does the Taylor Swift drop suck or not. That doesn't matter. Okay, because yes, it does, by the way. Taylor Swift. Okay, see, I'm terrible. Have you ever had a conversation about things that matter? If you have, give yourself a point. Here's the second question. Have you ever challenged a friend about a self-destructive behavior? Have you seen something going on with a friend that you know is going to lead them to something really bad, and you intervened and you said, look, I know you're going to be mad at me, but I'm going to tell you how it is. This is how it is. This is where that's going. Stop it. Give yourself a point for that. And give yourself a third point if you fight for your friendships when things get tough. Rather than just like, oh, I cannot go through this with this person again. I cannot listen to this one more time. I cannot, I'm out. Instead, you're like, yep, I can hear this 8,000 times because this person is my friend and I'm going to be with him. I don't know how many points you got on that. If you got 3, congratulations. If you got 2, pretty good. If you only got 1, there's a couple things to work on there, right? Last one. True sign of amazing friendship is when you can enjoy their successes and not be jealous of it. I think that's difficult for you guys sometimes. You know, our community where we live, what goes on around Fairfax, Prince William, wherever we live, Loudon, wherever you guys live, Arlington, wherever it is. You know, this is a weird place to live, and there's disparity in what happens in people's lives. And sometimes it's hard not to be jealous or hard not to go, well, how is that fair? You know, it's like, but here's the thing. If you can genuinely and truly be happy for, you know, one of the girls in your group of 4 or 5 or whatever it is, gets into that school that you really wanted to get into but you didn't get in, can you be happy for them? Man, that's amazing sign of friendship. Or because you want them to be the best that they can be. You genuinely want that, even though you may not get that same opportunity. It's being cool with your friend who got a car from his dad for free, for nothing, when you're busting your butt at your part-time job to pay for your car, your gas, your insurance with no help. It's being able to be like, that's great for him, right? Good friends are cheerleaders who can enjoy other successes. I'm not saying it's not hard. I've lived that. You know, I think I have lived that the way that you guys lived that in your life when I was growing up. I had a group of friends that I grew up with in middle school, and we lived on one side of town. And after middle school, we just sort of drifted away. And I ended up being friends with the high school kids who were from the other side of town, the richer side of town, the side of town where it seemed like things were a lot easier and all that kind of stuff. And even though like they were my genuine and true friends, there were always these moments as I went through all of that time. And at the end of the night, when we would all go home, I would go this way and they would go that way. And it was just that thing, right? Where you just kind of, in the moment, I had to go, am I gonna be happy for them, or are they really my friends, or what am I doing here? And it's that kind of a feeling. You know, it's about being able to celebrate and share the successes of others and genuinely be happy for them. All right. When you leave tonight, after small group, okay, we're going to be out in the hallway, and we've gone a little bit late, and I apologize. You can do what you need to do with your small groups and hang out. But we've got these little bags. You're going to see them on the table out there. They say, choose your own adventure. Okay? I want you to just take one. You're not allowed to open it, look inside, see what the adventure is, and see if it works for you, and then put it back. Just grab one. All right? Just grab a bag. on your way out. And these are a bunch of ideas this week where you can stretch yourself a little bit. Okay? They don't necessarily all have to do with friendship. Some do, some don't. But it's about adventure. It's about experiencing God in a different way. So just take one. They're going to be out there when you finish your small groups, and I want you to take one home, and I want you to do it this week, all right?